Imagine this. You finally close on your dream home in South Florida, a stunning 4-bedroom right near the water for just 400 grand. You're hauling in the last box, arguing with your spouse about where the couch goes, kids running around excited, and then the mail shows up. One envelope changes everything. You rip it open expecting the usual congratulations packet, but instead it's your homeowner's insurance quote. $12,000 a year. That's $1,000 a month before you've even paid the mortgage, the taxes, or turned on the electricity. You think it has to be a typo, but it's not. Welcome to the silent crisis that's quietly detonating the entire Florida real estate market right now. And the scariest part? Billionaire investor Mark Cuban just went on record saying this single issue is about to wreck Florida harder than skyrocketing interest rates, harder than overbuilding, harder than anything else combined. If the guy who called the dot-com crash, made billions reading markets, and sits on Shark Tank every week is screaming fire, you'd better believe the building is already burning. Smash that subscribe button right now so you never miss these kinds of warnings. Drop Florida in the comments if you're watching this from the Sunshine State, and let's dive into exactly why brand new, gorgeous homes all over Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and the Keys are sitting completely empty while regular families are being forced to pack up and flee the place they've loved for decades. Here's the reality nobody on the news wants to say out loud. The average Florida homeowner is now paying just shy of $11,000 a year for basic property insurance, almost double what people in hurricane-battered Louisiana pay. And we're not talking about a gentle increase. Premiums have exploded 70 to 100% in the last 5 years alone, while most people's paychecks barely moved 10 or 15. 1 out of every 5 homes in the state right now is either completely uninsured, dangerously underinsured, or the owner is just praying they can self-insure because the quotes are so insane they literally can't pay them. These aren't deadbeats gambling with trailers. These are doctors, teachers, retirees who spent their entire lives saving for the Florida dream and are now watching it evaporate because the insurance bill tripled practically overnight. I spoke to one family in Coral Gables who saw their annual premium jump from $3,000 to over $9,000 in just 36 months. Their mortgage never changed, property taxes ticked up a little, but suddenly they were hemorrhaging an extra $500 a month just to keep a policy in force. They put the house on the market, took a loss, and moved to North Carolina because the math no longer worked.
Mark Cuban didn't sugarcoat it when someone asked him why entire subdivisions of brand new construction are sitting vacant. His exact words were that developers are building exactly the homes people want at prices that look attractive on paper, but the second a buyer runs the insurance quote, the deal dies. The houses aren't unaffordable, they're uninsurable, and there's a massive difference. Major carriers have already pulled out of entire counties. Some won't write policies south of Palm Beach. Others have flat out stopped insuring anything built before 2005. And in the highest risk zones, you literally cannot buy coverage at any price. No insurance means no mortgage. No mortgage means no sale. No sale means rows and rows of empty $3 million mansions with the landscaping still perfect and the for sale signs fading in the sun. It's surreal when you fly over these neighborhoods at dusk. Pools glowing turquoise, not a single light on inside any house, not a car in any driveway, just total silence. And it's about to cascade. When buyers disappear, prices have to come down. When prices fall enough, current owners go underwater on their loans. When you're underwater and your insurance just jumped another 30%, plenty of people will simply mail the keys to the bank and walk away. We're already seeing it in older condo buildings. After the Surfside collapse, new state laws forced inspections and massive special assessments, sometimes hundreds of thousands per unit, on top of insurance premiums that shot to $20,000, $30,000, even $50,000 a year for a 2-bedroom built in the 80s. Owners are abandoning units they still owe money on because paying the assessments plus the new insurance is more expensive than just letting the bank take it. Entire high-rise buildings in Miami Beach now have more dark windows than lit ones at night. It looks like a scene from an apocalypse movie, except it's happening right now in real life.
People keep saying interest rates are killing real estate, but Cuban is 1,000% right when he says this is worse. Because rates are cyclical. The Fed will cut again eventually. You'll refinance. Your payment drops. Life goes on. But insurance only has one-way ratchet in Florida. Up. The Gulf of Mexico is the warmest it's ever been, hurricane seasons are longer and more violent, and the reinsurance companies that back the regular carriers have been hemorrhaging billions. They're not charities, they're math machines. And the math says, get out or charge whatever the market will bear. With fewer players left, competition evaporates and the remaining companies can basically maim their price. Add in the fact that even if you own your house free and clear, no mortgage at all, you still have to insure it or one storm wipes out your entire net worth, and you see the trap. Retirees who plan to live off Social Security in a paid-off home now have to cough up $1,000 or more every month just to keep from going broke if a hurricane hits. The dominoes don't stop at individual families. Florida has no state income tax, which means the government runs almost entirely on property tax revenue. If home values crater because nobody can insure them, tax receipts collapse overnight. Schools lose funding, roads don't get repaired, police and fire budgets get slashed, and the death spiral accelerates. The same snowbirds and remote workers who flooded here in 2021 and 2022 have figured out the game. Net migration into Florida last year was barely 64,000, down from over 400,000 the year before. That's not a slowdown, that's a reversal. People are leaving, listings are piling up, and in some South Florida zip codes, half the houses on the market have been sitting for 6 months or longer because when buyers run the real numbers, mortgage plus insurance plus flood policy plus HOA, they're looking at $5,000 or $6,000 a month to own a $400,000 house. That's credit card level payments for a middle-class house, and nobody's signing up for that.
This is the part that should terrify anyone who owns Florida real estate or is thinking about buying. Mark Cuban isn't some random YouTuber with a doom channel. He's one of the sharpest business minds alive, and he's telling you the quiet part out loud. Large sections of coastal Florida are on the verge of becoming economically unlivable long before the ocean actually rises an inch. It won't be flooding that drives the final nail. It'll be the cost of betting you won't flood. When the price of hope exceeds the price of the house itself, the market breaks, and that breaking point is here right now. Brand new homes sitting empty, retirees forced to sell at a loss and move in with their kids up north, entire condo towers going dark, banks loaded with properties they can't insure and therefore can't sell. It's a slow-motion disaster that's already in progress. So if you're watching this and you own property in Florida, run your own numbers today, not next month. Get fresh insurance quotes. Talk to multiple agents, because what you paid last year is probably not what you'll pay next year. If you're thinking about moving here, add 20 to 30% on top of whatever mortgage calculator is spitting out, because that's the new reality. And if you found this information valuable, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button, turn on notifications, share this video with anyone you know who's got money tied up in Florida real estate, because the more people who understand what's actually happening, the better decisions we can all make before the next shoe drops. The insurance crisis isn't coming to Florida. It's already here. And according to Mark Cuban and the mountain of data backing him up, it's only going to get worse from this point forward. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.